welcome to Kicking It with Sensei. And today we're joined by martial artist and martial arts history museum owner, Michael Matsuda. You're very welcome, Michael.
Greetings, everybody.
It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, Sensei Emmett.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Very kind of you.
And if you could just give the audience a little background into your martial arts, the extensive martial arts that you have.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I've been doing martial arts. I'm a real old fart at this. I've been doing martial arts 53 years now. I started around 1967, around that time period. And I started in the art of judo. Well, actually, I stand corrected. I actually started in the art of kung fu. Yeah. I started in the young kung fu when I was very young. And then from there, I went to judo. And that was my main art for a little while, and then went to jiu-jitsu. And, you know, back in the 60s, there was judo was the only art. I was lucky to learn a little kung fu back then by one of the students of Ark Wai Wong. But I studied judo, and that was the only art really commercially out there. Yeah. And then I got into jiu-jitsu. I started dabbling in karate, and then this guy came into school. His name was Al Dacascos. And he looked really cool. And he had this black outfit, cool collar, and he moved like this. And I said, that's it. That's the art for me. I went looking for a kung fu art. Sure enough, found one. And then I've been doing Hungar, which is Shaolin style, Southern Shaolin style, for about a decade or so. And then my friends started learning another art form called Monkey KungFu. And then I started studying that. So I've studied that for about 40 years now. So a total of 52 years. I've also trained in kickboxing with Cecil Peoples, a wonderful man. And then a little bit in Jeet Kune Do when I was taking my Chinese courses, language courses for a year and a half. One of the classes during the courses was Jeet Kune Do. So I took that, one of Daniel Sando's student, for a while. But Kung Fu has been my main art for the last 40 plus more than that years, but 53 years total in the martial arts.
Excellent. And you're the last in the long line of the lineage of the Monkey Kung Fu style that you study, aren't you? You're the last in the line at the moment. And could you give us a wee bit more?
Yeah, I am the sixth descendant. Yeah, I'm sixth descendant of the art. I have 3 students who have completed the art, but they're not going on to teach it. So I'm the last of the last. So I put everything on DVD for everybody to enjoy the whole course, the whole system. And that way, when I'm gone, at least the DVDs will be there to carry on the art. But yeah, I'm the last of the of those who have completed the full art, who've been handed down the art. Excellent. But, you know, I want to say, in being in the martial arts since 67 or so, I was able to grow up with everybody. You know, when Chuck Norris was just a competitor, and these guys were, you know, Gina Bell was a wrestler, and all these people, especially in the Los Angeles area, and to grow up with them and to know Benny when, you know, he was young, and everybody back then was a fantastic time. So even though I'm as old as dirt, I'm so thrilled to have grown up with these guys. So it's kind of cool.
Excellent. And where did the idea of opening the martial arts museum come from?
Oh, it was a terrible idea.
It was terrible. Oh, it's a fantastic idea from where I'm sitting now, but I don't have the work that you do to do
it. You know, somebody has to throw the pebble in the pond. You know, somebody has to start the ripple, and somehow I always knew it was going to be me. You know, somehow I always knew that. And I'm very glad of that. I really am very glad of that, that it just fell into my lap. We can go in a lot more detail about it, but as we go along through this interview, but, you know, I'm very glad to be the person launching it off. It has been a journey. It has been a hard journey. And I think I'm up for the task, and I'm glad I've been able to do that for the martial arts. It's the least I can do for what the martial arts has done for me. But in a quick nutshell, yeah, I just happen to be the one who threw the pebble. That started the ripple in the pond. You know, I just happen to be the pebble guy.
That's it. And in the many years in martial arts, you've met some of the great pioneers over the years. Do you think that's helped you sort of grow the museum, and you kind of had the connections throughout the time? Like, do you think they've all kind of played a part in the museum over the years?
Yeah, oh, definitely, definitely. Am I looking at the right place?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
this is
You're
all
okay.
new to me, guys. In case you're watching Zoom, this is my first time on Zoom. Yeah, you know, growing up with them has made this. I think the best person to run the museum is someone who was there as part of it.
Yeah,
To me, because I grew up with these guys, all of them. You know, I was a little kid seeing Chuck Norris compete before he was in the movies, and
yeah,
seeing all of these Bong Soo-han and everybody come to America, and to grow up with Benny's family. I knew Lily since Rodriguez, his sister, one of the kickboxing giants of all time, since she was a teenager. You know, I
yeah,
knew all these people when they first came to America, when Fumio first came to America, and to meet them all and to follow their careers and to be part of that martial arts genre, shall we say, or that martial arts community. I think it makes a huge difference, because, you know, people can talk about this and that, and I said, yeah, I was there. You know, I remember, because I was there, you know,
yeah,
when Fumio Kimura came to America, and he was at the Deer Park where he first started doing demonstrations. I remember I was there. I met him. I went to see him all the time at the Deer Park. So to grow up with these guys in the martial arts, it has been a real treat. It really has been. And to me, it's personal, you know, because it's part of the museum, but they're part of my lives as well.
excellent. And you've also done a lot of live streams recently in the growth of your YouTube channel, which is I've chatted to you a lot on them. And do you think you'll get more people on Zoom and that now in the future, kind of thing, to actually speak along with you? I know you're a very good friend of Sensei Rothrock, and
yeah, you know, we have been pushing our YouTube channel, you know, and different platforms like that,
yeah,
to get more out there. You know,
yeah,
Cynthia and I have been pals for a long time, and we have a company together. And Cynthia had one video on YouTube. That was it. That's all
yeah,
she had. And I said, no, Cynthia, we got to change this. And we did. We changed it, and it's now to 30,000 subscribers
yeah,
in a short time. So I need more help in using these platforms, but I use the YouTube and Facebook to do live broadcasts. I'm doing that more. So in time, we're going to do a lot more things with all these platforms. But you know what they say, you got to find an 8-year-old kid who knows how to do it. So I got to
yeah.
find one.
That's it. Yeah, perfect. And where would you like to see the museum go in the next 10 years, kind of thing?
Well, we're
What's
hoping to finalize a big grant that we've been working on for the last 2 years. It's a huge grant, and if it comes through, and it looks pretty good now,
yeah,
this pandemic has put a monkey wrench in everything,
yeah,
but it looks like it's moving through. And if it goes through, we have a location already set up, a huge location for the museum. We're going to have a museum village, so a place where you can, like, think of Disneyland, Main Street Disneyland. So think of that. You know, I always admired Walt Disney, and I used to work for Walt Disney Productions years ago as an artist.
yeah,
But I always admired what he did, and the way he made people come together at Disneyland. And I think we can do that in a way for the museum, maybe not Disneyland, but, you
yeah,
know, like a little village of martial arts in different countries, stores, Philippine stores, Chinese stores, a restaurant, and we can name the foods, dishes after the
yeah,
Chuck Norris burger or something like that. But, you know, our plan is to have a large theater, and to have events there, and performances, and musicians, and, you know, concerts and all that, and then have a large museum, you know, where we can explore different areas of the martial arts, and especially an exhibit area for the martial
yeah,
arts, you know, to have different exhibits. That way everybody has an opportunity to be in the museum, or a big part of the museum. And then also a walk of fame, putting your handprints in the cement. This is something that's been planned for the past 21 years.
yeah,
Literally, we have planned a large museum all this time. And hopefully if all these things go through, we'll be able to do that. We do that now on a small scale, but we'll do it on a huge scale. That way Disney can premiere all their movies at the Martial Arts History Museum. You know, we can have Chinese New Year celebration. We can have Japanese Obon celebration. All these different things we could have at the village in a little parade. And, you know, it's going to be a huge complex, and everybody can come to it all the time. And my goal is for everybody to spend 6 hours there, having a lot of time at the Martial Arts History Museum complex.
I know some of the big names in martial arts now. There could be Disney park rides named after them, like for instance,
there you go. Won't have
Bennett the Jet roller coaster, but
maybe a rickshaw, but no rides. You know, years ago they had the Japanese deer park here in Buena Park in Los Angeles, and it was like Japan was there. You know. Very traditional, pearl diving. The streets were all like Japan. You would swear you were in Japan. And it had that nice feeling when you got there. So I kind of looked toward that, to have that nice feeling. You get in there, ooh, I'm in China, you know, or I'm here, I'm the Shaolin Temple, you know. So I wanted to kind of have that feel for people to come and really enjoy it that way. But the rides would be nice, but I don't think so.
Rides would be nice then. But as you said, you've spent 53 years in martial arts and you've studied a lot of different styles. Is there any style that you haven't studied that you would like to try in the future?
You know, I always want to try Muay Thai. I say that because in the style I do called Monkey KungFu, Muay Thai movements, the knees and the elbows and all that are part of the art. It's actually exactly what you'd see in Muay Thai, same thing. And so I just wanted to explore it more in Muay Thai. So that's when I plan to pursue. I did kickboxing with Cecil Peoples for a while, but I'd like to explore Muay Thai a little bit more. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Excellent. And I know you've a lot of DVDs out, the biographies of all the legends and pioneers of martial arts. Is there anybody you'd like to do a biography about and in the future?
You know,
have you got them all covered at this stage?
You know, one of the responsibilities I feel the museum is keeping our history alive. I think that's one of our main responsibilities. And we do that in many different ways. And one of the ways you just mentioned is our biography. We do a biography DVD for especially all the Hall of Famers, but significant achievers as well. But we do a real nice biography of their life. You know, I think it's important that we record something professional. I see stuff out there all the time, and it's nice to see stuff out there all the time on YouTube and everything, but we need somewhere to really preserve as accurate as we can the history of many of these pioneers and what they did to make it an impact on the world. And we do these DVDs, we interview them and we do pictures of them. And I tell them, look, you know, this is going to be your legacy when you're gone. So when we're all gone, 50 years from now, maybe longer, they could go onto the Hall of Fame wall or somewhere in the museum and click on your name, and the video will appear. And that way people can see your history, what you did personally, talking about it. And I think that's very important to do. So we do a series of biographies. We're trying to do everybody, all the, especially the Hall of Famers for the museum, and to get them all in, you know, hopefully before they pass away, and they're passing away quickly. And we're doing our best, as fast as my little fingers can take me, to edit, you know, shoot it and edit it. And this is all our costs. We're putting all the cost up. And that way we'll have it available. We put it on Amazon for people to buy as well, but you know, it doesn't really sell on there. It's just to have it on there. You know what I mean? It's more of a keepsake here at the museum, and that's way that history is kept alive. Their voices, their video, and their words, shall we say, their final words. So hopefully not, but you know what I mean. It's like Cecil Peoples said to me, I want my great-great-great-grandson to see what their great-great-great-grandfather did in history. So it's, the biography DVDs, I think, are very important. And I do my best to make them as professional as possible. That way they're very proud of them. You know, people can make a lot of DVDs and I think they're great, but let's add some professionalism to the martial arts. And so I do my best to make it professional.
Excellent. And do you think technology is going to play a big role in preserving sort of
yeah,
history in the future?
definitely. Oh, definitely. You know, when the goal is to have, if you watch the movie Starship Troopers, remember that movie?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a scene, and I love this scene, and I that's the best scene I can relate to everybody. There's this one part where the girlfriend, there's the names of the people who passed away during battle. Okay, it's scrolling up the wall. Okay, it's continuous scrolling, and you type in that person's name, and the name will come up right on the screen. Okay, that's the kind of thing I'd like to do, something like that for the museum. We'll have a Hall of Fame wall, and then they type in the name of the person, and either you can read their biography or watch their video. So I want that full technology to be part of the museum, so anybody can access it and easily and freely. You know, who knows, by the time things change in technology, maybe we'll have the hologram like Star Trek, where they can sit there and talk to you and answer questions, and that would be pretty cool. So I am thrilled to death of what technology can do, and who knows, you know, who knows what they can do in the very near future, and we're talking near future. If they can do holograms and all that, I'm on board.
Excellent. And I know you usually run Dragon Fest every year, which is a big martial arts festival. It's usually run over the weekends, but I know this year you're doing it virtually. And
everything's iffy right now over here because of the pandemic. Everything's iffy. I'm not sure what to do. We had to cancel it last year, as everybody did. We have it scheduled. By the way, in case anybody's tuning in, we do a convention called Dragon Fest. Just like Comic-Con. If you know Comic-Con, if you're into comics, you know Comic-Con. Huge convention in San Diego. Hundreds of thousands of people go there every year. Well, over here in Los Angeles, we have a convention called Dragon Fest. It was started by Gerald Okamura several decades ago. He ran it for about 9 years, and it was a gathering of martial arts celebrities and stars and icons and everybody that have a table. You get to meet them and sign autographs, and it was pretty cool, and a stage performance, and it was pretty nice. He stopped that for 10 years, and then when we started the museum in 1999, everybody kept bugging us, pick up Dragon Fest, restart Dragon Fest. And you know, I used to design the website for Dragon Fest back in the early days. I had a booth at Dragon Fest all the time, and I had a lot of fun. You know, I was on stage many times promoting the museum, but everybody kept bugging me, come on, you need to start Dragon Fest because there's no convention out here, and all of us are getting old and we're not seeing anybody anymore, so please start it. So I said, okay. So I threw in the hat and started Dragon Fest, what, about 7 years ago? Something like that, not too long ago. And I restarted it, and I was going to restart it on a small scale, but everybody was coming, so I had to start it on a large scale. And sure enough, everybody from the old days all came back. So it was just like it never ended. So everybody was coming back. And so we had the great convention. It was called Dragon Fest, and we went from 1 day to 2 days. And we've been doing seminars and workshops. Then it went to 3 days, and we're doing all this great stuff. So it was really building, you know, a lot of steam behind it. And everybody was there. And I mean, everybody was there. We either showed up or had a booth, and you got to meet everybody. You know, it was just nice. They'd drop in, you know, when we were doing the seminars, Leo Gahe came in, and everybody was shocked to death. This pioneer of Kali was there, and they asked him, hey, can you teach us? And he goes, sure. And he started teaching right there. So everybody stopped to watch Leo Gahe. So to have many giants of the martial arts come to Dragon Fest, it became a home for people that hadn't seen each other. It became a reunion. It became just a platform for new movies. And it was just a great event. It was a great event. It continued to grow every year. Now with this pandemic, we had to cancel it last year, and this year is up in the air. We have it scheduled for August 21st, but you know, everybody hasn't got their vaccine yet. We have no idea if the venue, the place we're going to have it at, is still going to be there, because their whole business is renting out the place, and they can't rent out the place. And that's months away. You know, we're talking about 9 months away or whatever. And they may not be there.
That's
you know,
it.
they're still closed. So everything is kind of up in the air. We're going to wait till May to really push it, because that's what we'll probably find out if everybody's going to get their vaccine and if this place is still going to be there. So everything's in limbo. The virtual, I'd love to do a virtual you know, a Dragon Fest, but again, everything is in limbo. So we'll kind of wait till May, and then hopefully we'll figure it out, and hopefully we can move forward on Dragon Fest. But Dragon Fest is a great event, dragonfest.com. Great convention. I really encourage everybody to go. You know, if you want to meet people, especially, you know, we used to have, when they were live, Bill Ryusaki was there, you know, and everybody, you know, from the old time was there, you know, Frank Trejo, you know, you name it. All of the old people who passed away have been there at Dragon Fest. So it's kind of neat to actually meet them in person, take pictures with them. So it was a cool event, but I hope we go forward with it today, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I've only discovered about it this year now. It was when I started this podcast in the summertime, and I started to get some big names on, such as William Christopher Ford and Michelle Manu. And when I was doing a wee bit of research on YouTube, every time I typed a name in, the first video would be at Dragon Fest. So it seemed to be a recurrent thing. Every big name, there was a video there from Dragon Fest of them interviewing with someone or teaching someone, and so it's on my bucket list to get to LA now, the Dragon Fest at some point.
Yeah, you know, it is a lot of fun. It really is. People come to Dragon Fest, the doors open like 10 o'clock and nobody leaves. They're there all day till 6 o'clock, because it's like a homecoming. You know, people you hadn't seen, and people fly in from everywhere, from every part of the country for this. People you hadn't seen in decades. There they are. People say, oh, this is my student I haven't seen in 40 years. And there they come to Dragon Fest because they know they're going to be there. So it's a fun celebration. It's more like you feel like you're home when you get there. It doesn't feel like a convention. It feels like you're home. And we run a very professional convention, by the way. Yeah. But, you know, everything nice, clean, sharp. We put in the funds for it, really do. These things are cheap, but we really make it as professional as possible, but it feels like you're home as well, because you know everybody. You know, years ago, they used to have a tournament called the Long Beach Internationals, put on by Ed Parker. Biggest convention in the world. Everybody was there. And one of the fun things about the internationals is it's like an oval stadium. It was huge, and I mean huge. And you'd go in there, and I would make a trip around the stadium, you know, to see everything. First, there's a pathway you can walk. And it took me over an hour to get around the pathway. It usually takes about 10 minutes or less. And because you see everybody from your old time, and I have my old friend here, and I kept bumping into people. So that's what I did the entire day of the internationals, is keep walking in a circle, because I kept seeing everybody and hanging out with everybody. So it was a lot of fun. It was a homecoming. And that's the kind of way the Dragon Fest is. It's a nice homecoming. You see everybody there, and it's just a blast to attend. So I recommend it to everybody. You know, I'm not just saying that to you know, come and be part of it. I'm just saying that come and be part of it. You know what I mean? Enjoy it, relish in it. Who knows when these people are going to be gone? So it's a great time to actually meet a lot of your icons there at Dragon Fest. So it's dragonfest.com, by the way, in case anybody wants to know.
No problem. I'll put links to the description of this video when I post it up for you now. And also, I know the museum is very based on the Asian martial arts at the minute, and has been. And do you ever imagine of actually adding other arts from around the world? I know Michelle Manu, for example, is one big with Lua, Hawaiian martial arts. I know she's a Hall of Famer. Do you ever see adding arts such as that into the museum?
Oh, yes. You know, right now, the theme, the primary thing, has always been Asian martial arts. That's the primary thing, but it is not limited to. So my goal right now, because of space, it's all Asian in here because of space. Okay.
Yeah.
But once we can move forward and get a larger place, every martial art will be in here, from Pencak Silat to capoeira to even wrestling and even boxing. So my goal is to have every form of martial arts represented here at the museum. And I think it's important to also have an exhibit area. An exhibit area where we can rotate it like every month or whatever, so we can feature different things. Like we could feature Kempo fighters of the 70s, or Muay Thai fighters of whatever time period, or you know what I mean, or we'll focus on one system or one style, the ATA or something like that. We can do in our exhibit area that we can change all the time, and that way people get a chance, even just for a month, to be in the museum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even if we do a day honoring them, we'll have their stuff in the museum for that time period. So everybody gets an opportunity to be part of this whole project. So the exhibit area is going to be very important. And I think that will open bigger doors to more people being part of the museum, and we can do a lot more things.
Excellent. And I also seen a YouTube video you've done recently now where you've actually went around LA showing the different sort of famous spots from over the years, and it was a lot of fun watching it now. But do you think you'll do more videos along those lines as well on YouTube?
Oh, definitely. We our YouTube channel, after I did Cynthia Rothrock's channel, we learned a lot.
Yeah.
It took us almost 2 years to get 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 viewing hours. And in case you're tuning in, you have to have a certain amount to get monetized on YouTube, minimum. And it took us 2 years. We had no idea what we're doing. We thought we did, but we didn't. I took everything I learned and I put it into the museum's YouTube channel. Even though we did have a channel for a while, we never did anything. But now I know how to do stuff. So in 3 months, I did everything it took us 2 years to do.
Yeah.
So we have been putting a lot of fun stuff in our YouTube channel. Like you said, we did a tour of different places in the martial arts, and we plan to do all that. Our goal is to have a martial arts history museum channel, a regular full channel as part of the museum. So when we get a large complex, we'll actually have a station that people can actually go to, and channel to go to, and watch a bunch of stuff. So we'll have a good staff, professional staff, and we have all these people in mind, our Camacho and many people in mind, to help run the whole thing and put stuff like places to go in the martial arts, so things to do. So YouTube is not going to move from YouTube, and it's going to move to a bigger platform, the Martial Arts History Museum channel. And then we'll have even more stuff on there, and maybe even a fun show about martial arts, like a soap opera or something like that. But
I'm always open for casting now, Michael.
There you go. We'll put everybody in there. We'll have a lot of fun with it. But right now we're doing everything on YouTube as much as we can, and putting biographies on YouTube, and putting places to go and interesting facts and different things like that on our YouTube channel for everybody to enjoy right now. And once we get monetized, that'll help the museum, the funding there, and hopefully everybody will come on board, and that'll really help us out, especially during this pandemic when our doors are not fully open. So doing the YouTube channel, it's called Martial Arts History Museum channel, and everybody can enjoy it and see all the fun stuff that we put on there. And we put some fun stuff on there, the then and now and all that stuff like that, and a lot of stuff to have fun on there, and especially our biographies. People enjoy that as well, and it's a blast doing it, and we hope to expand that into a Martial Arts History Museum channel in the near future.
Excellent. And finally, I know you've just put the new website up, and it's sort of a hub for all the rest kind of thing, and there's a few other added bits, and I know it's still in the process, but would you like to give a bit of more information on the website that's coming up?
Yes. We have a thing we're launching with the Martial Arts History Museum. And by the way, our website is mamuseum.com for the museum. And the second thing we're launching is called Expert Class. You know, right now, Hollywood is doing this thing called Master Class. And it's a great idea, you know, to bring in all these people who are skilled in, you know, different things of film and directing and all that, to have them bring advice on there. And they charge and all that, you know, it's a pretty good thing to go on there. When I was, I'll talk about my education in a while if you don't, unless you want to call it short.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. But I used to go to all these classes, and when I was going to film school, I went to the American Film Institute, and I used to watch all these directors, you know, Robert Rodriguez and all these people, Spielberg. They come up to the class and they talk about what they did, and I thought it was so cool. And to go to these classes, and so with this new, you know, with the internet, it's not new. With the internet, they doing the thing called Masterclass, and I said, you know, that'd be fantastic. So me and my friend Farborsa Jacques said we should do a thing called Expert Class, and we'll bring martial artists to show some of their stuff on there. And I said, that's a fantastic idea, and we'll hook it up to YouTube. That way, people, you know, we can help get more monetized, more funds to YouTube through the museum, through YouTube, and connect that way. So that's what we did. We are getting ready to launch it. We put it under the name, Expert Class was already taken. So we used one of the websites that someone gave us that was very popular for a long time, called Martial Shop. And that was very, very popular. And we were going to use that now, martialshop.com. And that's going to be the Expert Class. And we're getting ready to launch it. I would say in a few weeks, we're ready to put that out there. The website is there right now. And with that class as well, we also have Words of Wisdom, where we're doing another whole section on martial arts icons giving advice and talking about inspiration and different topics. And that'll also be included, and plus our museum store that we're finally going to put online. So all that's put in a new, shall we say, a new branch of the museum, our Expert Class, our Words of Wisdom, all under martialshop.com. So that's going to be pretty exciting. Going a little bit into the museum, you know, I started the museum in 1999, officially 1999. When years ago, I wanted to be getting into martial arts. I always loved getting the magazines. Magazines are the best, you know, Black Belt Magazine, Inside Kung Fu Magazine, Karate Illustrated. They were the best there were. I got them all the time. And I said, one day I'm going to write for those magazines. So that's what I did. I went back to school, got a journalism degree, and I started writing for the magazines. I wrote for Inside Kung Fu first. And sure enough, I got a cover story. It was all about Bruce Lee. And then I started writing for Black Belt Magazine. And I did that for quite some time. And then at the time, I was going to school as a journalist. And then I was also working as an advertising director for the college. And then I was running their newspaper as well. And I said, you know, I should start my own magazine because I know how to do it. So that's what I did. I started my own magazine. It was called Martial Art Magazine. I started that in 1983. And I wanted to talk about the history of the martial arts in there. But I kept getting ads for tournaments. And so I had to cover tournaments. So all of a sudden, my history magazine became more of a tournament magazine, which is not what I wanted, even though tournaments were a lot of fun. And growing up to see, you know, these, you know, George Chung and Cynthia, and growing up to see all of them compete when they just started competing, you know, it was fun, but it wasn't doing what I wanted it. And one day a guy came up to me and says, I'd like to buy your magazine. And almost before the words came out, I said, sold. And I sold the magazine in 1988. And it was right at that time, I said, okay, I need to find something that's going to keep our history alive, because magazines come and go. You know, who remembers who was on the cover last month of one of the magazines? And I said, it'd be nice to have a museum. And I met with Doug Wong first, Sifu Douglas Wong. And I said, what do you think? And he said, I think it's a great idea. And I said, okay. So I said, you know, I don't know how to run a museum. I know nothing about running a museum. And it'd be foolish for me to try to put stuff on the wall and open doors and act like I knew what I was doing. So I went back to school for another 8 to 10 years to learn how to do this. I went to the American Film Institute to learn how to be a director because I knew there was going to be film and video involved with this. I went to learn, public speaking and to do that. I learned design of the museum. I got a degree in business. I need to be a businessman because I need to run it like a business. So I need to get a degree. So I got a degree in business. I went to UCSUN. I went to every college you can think of to learn how to do a museum, everything you can think of. And then once I felt I was, okay, I know what I'm doing. I grew up with these martial artists and I said, okay, I'm going to try this and take the museum on a tour. We're going to do a tour all over the place as an exhibit. Say, okay. So I called up some of these conventions and I said, hey, can we have a booth there? How much is a booth? And they said, oh yeah, you can have a booth here. We're a nonprofit, so we'll give it to you free. I said, oh, great. So there I went. I put everything, I borrowed everything I could think of from every martial artist you could think of, especially Sifu Douglas Wong. I said, Sifu, can I borrow that lion head? And can I borrow those swords? Can I borrow that uniform? So I loaded up the van, took all the stuff. We had a traveling exhibit and there we were. And we started going to different Asian themed conventions and tournaments and stuff like that. And it got so popular that everybody was starting to call us. And I said, can you bring your exhibit there? So we went from a small little booth to 1,000 square foot exhibit at SeaWorld, at the Queen Mary, you name it. We were all over from California to New York. We were traveling every month. We had an exhibit somewhere. And it was tiring, but we did that for like 4 years. And we wanted to make sure that people were going to be interested in the museum. We wanted to make sure that it was something that people were going to support. And once we did that, we found people were going to support it. We did. We found a lot of great feedback, always positive. And then we said, okay, we're going to go forward and we're going to make the museum. And that's what we did. We started throwing events. We started throwing the Hall of Fame dinners. And I'd love to talk about that a little bit on the Hall of Fame after this. We started throwing dinners. We started throwing little events here and there. And then we finally got enough funds to get a place. And we got a place in the city of Santa Clarita. We were there for a while, and then we moved here to Burbank. And now it's been 21 years. And we have been doing events galore, you name it. We do honor days. We do everything you can think of, movie screenings, exhibits, art exhibits, and all that. Everything we think to make the museum successful. So as you can see behind me, it don't look too bad. See, I'll lean over there.
It looks good, mate. It looks good.
Yeah, you can see it each side. We going back to school, I wanted to make sure when people came in, they had a great experience.
Yeah.
And that's why we put the extra attention in this. We even have a little animatronics in here to talk to the people. That's from being a Walt Disney Productions person for years. But we put a little animatronics in there and stuff like that to make it a little fun for the kids. We do tours for the kids all the time. Schools come in here. We do a lot of different stuff here at the museum. We've had History Channel film here, A&E, Auction Kings, you name it. Everybody's filmed here and to talk about the history of the martial arts. So we've become a nice resource for everybody. But I'm very proud of the museum. I really am. Even though right now we're small, but we have so much in storage and our plans are big. And, I could say it has not been an easy road at all. Not at all. We've had, especially financially, it's been a very difficult road, but we have gone through it all. And this pandemic, we're able to hang on. Hopefully through when this is all done and we can do more things out there. But I feel we have created a home for the martial arts here. There are just so many events and different things that have been thrown here at the martial arts and people we have honored who have already passed away, but we had at least the opportunity to honor them. And I think that it's very important that we have that. So I think it is a huge responsibility to have this museum. I do not take it lightly, not at all. I do my best to have as accurate information as I can. I'm not perfect. I get resources galore of people helping me John Corcoran was just a marvelous historian. He used to help me a lot, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
But I have done my homework and do my best to make sure it's just accurate as possible. We're going to have flaws along the way. That's just how it is, you know, because information is passed down from word of mouth. But you know how it is. But
martial arts seems to have a hidden, it kind of, a lot of martial arts anyway, when you go back so far, it's kind of very gray and blurry of where exactly it started. It's
it's pretty gray, it really is. But you know, we do our best. We do our best to make it as accurate as possible, and I'm very proud about that. I'm very thrilled about that. We really do our best. We do our research, and we're really thrilled that the newspapers and magazines, when someone passes away, they call the museum, and they want to find out who's in the Hall of Fame and who's, you know, this and that, their history. And do you have pictures of them? And yes, we do. We have over 100,000 pictures in our library. And that's another thing I want to do as part of the museum, have a whole resource library. Everything about all the martial arts, its history, who is, you know, everybody. And that way people can access that and have accurate information. So that's going to be another part, is a resource library for everybody to enjoy as well. If you don't mind, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that now. It's just, if you want to go ahead and explain.
No problem. Sorry, I'm taking your questions.
No, you're okay. You're okay. It's I use this as a platform to let people like yourself speak and get the martial arts out there. So
you're doing a great job, Sensei Emmett. Thank you for doing this. You know, the Hall of Fame, being in the martial arts since the 60s, I've seen every Hall of Fame come and go. Every one of them. You name it, they came and they all went. And you know, I never put anybody's Hall of Fame down. Never. You know, I don't do that. I don't talk about people. I don't put anybody down. Anything. My focus is getting this museum moving and growing, and everybody to enjoy it. So I'm not the police for anybody's style or anything like that. You know, and I don't put anybody's Hall of Fame down. I believe people should receive recognition for what they've done, and I think that's wonderful that people are getting recognition all over the place. I'm not thrilled to death they're using the name Hall of Fame, because Hall of Fame should be, you know, you know what I mean? The Baseball Hall of Fame, but that's not up to me. But, you know, but I'm glad people are getting recognized. I really am. And I think that's important, that people receive recognition for what they've done. I think that's really nice. But I think it's important that we also have a Hall of Fame for the martial arts that has, that people can look to, and knowing that, okay, I can see why that person's in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we created the Martial Arts History Museum's Hall of Fame in 1999 when we started the museum. And again, we actually started the museum in 1988, but we didn't officially start on paper till 1999. That's when we make it official. And we started the Hall of Fame the same time. And the Hall of Fame, to me, should be the how to say, epitome of someone's career. It should be like the Academy Awards, literally. So I said, how can we make this a little different and make it so unique that people will look up toward this Hall of Fame? And we said, okay, we're going to make it based on history, because we are a history museum. So I said, okay, let us look at the person's history and see what they did to change history, either in Asia or America, throughout the world. There are many great Hall of Fame, great martial artists out there, many fantastic competitors out there all over, many just wonderful actors and people and all that. But there's you know, there are certain individuals who made such an impact on history that they changed the world. And I said, that's what it's got to be about, that those few people that really had a pivotal role in changing the world. You know, Bruce Lee changed the world, you know. So I thought it was important to do a museum based on historical achievements. And that's what we did. We made it based on what they did to change the direction of the martial arts, create a new path, became the pioneers of kickboxing. Lily Rodriguez, one of the pioneers of kickboxing. You know, these people who opened those doors where there were no doors before. And I think it's important to do that. So we created a Hall of Fame. it is selected by the previous Hall of Famers. It is not selected by the museum. That way people don't yell at us. But it is up to them to nominate them. And I always say, I said, okay, it is up to you guys, but keep this in mind. You're putting them around the same level as you. So just keep that in mind, whoever you select. So they provide information, and I said, okay, because I don't know everybody, and provide information on, okay, this is what they did to change history. You know, this is what Jackie Chan did to change the movies. You know, this is what, you know, Y.C. Wong did to change Kung Fu. You know, it's what these people did, you know, Arkwai Wong did to open the doors to Kung Fu in America and throughout the world. So I would have that information, and then we created a series of books, and we're still ongoing books. And in the book, you can actually see, you know, what that person did to change history. There would be no doubt of why they're in the Hall of Fame. You know, again, many people get Hall of Fame stuff all the time, and I see it all the time. And again, I don't criticize them at all, not a single one. But I was in one time, just an example, one time in someone's Hall of Fame, and next to me was a 17-year-old kid also in the Hall of Fame. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But you know what I mean? It needs to be a place that the press can go to, and everybody can be rest assured, oh, okay, that's why they're in there. That's, you know, Babe Ruth changed the world. You know what I mean? In baseball. So that's why they're in the Hall of Fame. And here it is, a whole chapter on them, on what they did to change history. So I felt by doing that, it'll at least keep an accurate, as much as we can, an accurate history of what that person did to change the world. You know what I mean? And again, I say there are fantastic martial artists all over the world. People who teach underprivileged kids, people who teach the police, the CIA, whatever. There's tons of people that do great things, but there's not too many people who change history. And I thought that was important to have a Hall of Fame that really reflects our history. A Hall of Fame should be the hardest thing to get into, not the easiest thing. And the Martial Arts History Museum's Hall of Fame is very hard to get into. It really is. And I'm very proud of that. Not because of me, not because of the museum, but because of the previous Hall of Famers. They make it very hard to get into, and I'm very glad. They're very picky, and I'm very glad about it. So I'm happy to have the Hall of Fame. I really am. We call it the Martial Arts History Museum's Hall of Fame, or the museum's Hall of Fame. And I'm very proud that the people they have chosen have been people who have really changed history, really have. And I can honestly say without a doubt, it's something that the museum is happy to recognize as a good look at history. You know what I mean? An accurate look at history and our history makers. So that's the Hall of Fame in a nutshell.
Excellent. Just as you said there about 17-year-old, I remember actually going to a karate class a few years ago, and I think there must have been about 30 people in the class, and around 28 of them were in the same Hall of Fame for the same year. I thought they must have made that up for the club, but
you know, it's out there. They're all out there. And again, you know, I'm in favor of recognition of people. I really am. But we need to have, you know, it's like a quick story. Benny Ukida's, you know, Sensei Benny, huge kickboxing pioneer. And he went into an interview for a movie. And he said, so tell me about yourself. And he says, oh, I'm a 5-time world champion. And he goes, how can you be the 5-time world champion? The last 3 people said they were world champions as well. So, you know, we need to have something out there that has, at least to me, an official Hall of Fame for the martial arts. And as close as we can get, you know, this is as close as we can get. Again, I don't criticize anybody's Hall of Fame at all. I think they're great to have people recognize, but as close as we can get, we have as accurate a Hall of Fame, and we put as accurate information as we can. It's a nice piece of history, and to honor those who really changed direction, opened new doors, or created new paths in the martial arts. And we're happy to have the Hall of Fame here at the museum.
Excellent. It is a great Hall of Fame. I've actually looked at some of the names on it, and you don't even need a book or a chapter written on them. They're that well known, and they're known for changing the history.
Oh
It's,
yeah, you know,
everyone
you
knows
know,
who they are, even if they're not involved in martial arts. They know who these people are. It's a great Hall of Fame.
we put a book out, and I'm a little slow on this year's book because of the pandemic. Even I'm doing a bunch of stuff to raise money for the museum in between, but we try to put a book out every 2 years on the Hall of Fame, and it's a huge book. It's 300 pages, and we have it. It's a nice and let me just add this. As a publisher, I used to be a publisher. I've written about 12 books already. I try to write a book every year, and I make it as professional as possible. If you look at all our books, and you can open the books and you say, this is a professional book, because that's what I went to school for. And it is very professional. Everything we do is very professional here at the museum. And you go through the book, and it's not just pictures thrown in there. It's just not text all over the place and paragraphs all over. We design it very nice, very nice, something you can be proud of. So we had someone come here at the museum, and they pulled in, they had a limousine, I don't know who it was. This is Hollywood over here, so limousines are not something, they're there all the time. So someone pulls up the limousine, she comes out, she goes, I want to buy the Hall of Fame book. So she buys a couple books, that's all she came in for, got the books, bought them, okay, and then she left. And then 10 minutes later, she pulls back in, and she said, this is so professional, I had no idea. She goes back and buys more of the books, but she had to look into it to see it and see the professionalism of the book and what we do. And, we make a nice presentation, and all our books are that way. I know there are a lot of authors out there putting books out there, and I think it's great. I think it's wonderful to keep our history alive. But people, those who are making books, get a professional designer, get an editor out there to help you along the way, and that will give you a little more professional. They're not that expensive today. So, but we do our best to make it very professional and something people can enjoy, a coffee table book or something like that. And that's what we do, the same thing as a museum here. As you can see, we designed it very well. We really do. Even in a small space, we do our best to make a nice presentation to someone could come in and pay money to see it, and they say, this is a nice place, you know what I mean? So even though it's a small place at this time, we've made it very professional. And same thing, all our events and all the stuff, we add that professionalism in there. So that's why, going to school for the last 8 to 10 years, back to university to learn how to do that, do this museum and do the events, to me, it's so important to do that. It's so important to do that, not just put stuff on the walls and, put a tag, and, you need to put something behind it and know what you're doing. And I felt going back to school and learning this correctly was a thing to do. Jun Rhee, before he passed away, he said to me, Michael, you have done the museum right. You did it the right way. And I'm always, it really touched me, especially for coming from such a giant as Jun Rhee. And to have someone say that and that level is real touching. So I'm very glad that people have become behind me. And I just want to say also, I am thrilled to death that we've had support from so many people all over the world. We had hoped to get the big movie stars, to come to help the museum, to put in money. They make money from being in the movies. They're out there, and it would have been nice to have them, give money. And I expected them, I had hoped they would, to give money to help the museum, but sadly, none of them have. But it has been us, the community, all of us who have made the museum possible. So if I want to see, if you're going to say, who are the pioneers, real pioneers of the Martial Arts History Museum, it is all of us who have contributed $10, $5, whatever they can, come and help in the museum or do events. Or, Richard Bustillo used to do seminars for us at Birisaki and donate all the money to the museum. Cynthia donates all the time. And these are all the pioneers of the museum. These are the people who built the museum. The you and the me's have built the museum. It would be nice for the big stars to give us money. Sadly, they haven't. It would be nice. Maybe they will in the future. But I hope But for now, it has been us, all of us, you, me,
Yeah.
Sensei Emmett, everybody. We're the ones who created the museum. So I am just thrilled to say thank you to all our volunteers, to all our people who donated, contributed, and helped. You guys are the pioneers of the museum. Without you, we would be nothing. There would be no museum. So I just wanted to say a big thank you to all our volunteers and donators, and people who are watching our YouTube, and people who are sending us funds here and there, and people send all the time and donating stuff. I just want to say a big thank you to that.
Yeah.
And also, I forgot to mention, hope I don't mind, I'm taking
No,
all your time.
yeah,
I forgot to mention, everything here at the museum is donated. Everything is donated here. People have been so kind to donate all their items here at the museum. You know, Steve Lambert had the face mask of Enter the Ninja. You saw the movie, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Or Revenge of the Ninja, you know, with the mask. And he had the mask in his drawer. And he'd open his drawer and he looked at it and put it back. And then a couple of years later, he opened the drawer, looked at it, put it back. And he says, what am I doing looking at this mask every few years? Why don't I donate it to the museum so it'll be on display, so I can visit it anytime, so my name will be there, and people all over the world can enjoy the mask. And that's what we have here at the museum. People like Steve Lambert and Douglas Wong and so many people who have donated. All the samurai, everything is donated here, and people donate their uniforms and everything to keep that history here. So everything has been donated. We are so thankful for that, and that people are really taking this seriously, shall we say?
Yeah.
We've been here for 21 years. I hope they do.
Yeah, hopefully.
But people who are donating their stuff, you know, I talked to one person about a person's uniform who died about 5 years ago. And I've been trying to get that person's uniform here in the museum.
Yeah.
And they would never cooperate, never help me out. And then the person finally died. And then they told me a year ago, oh, yeah, I have that person's uniform. It's there in my closet, on the closet floor. And he wouldn't give it up. But there it is on the closet floor doing nothing. You know, and I said, you know, guys, if you pass away, your grandkids or your kids are going to think it's just an old uniform, and they're going to toss it in the trash or sell it on, you know, in the flea market or swap meet or something like that. So I'm doing my best to gather uniforms. We have a lot of uniforms of great people here, and it's nice to have something of theirs, especially the pioneers. And when they change history, you can actually see, oh, it's like, there's Babe Ruth's uniform. You know what I mean? There's so-and-so Albert Koskis uniform, or there's, you know,
Elvis Presley.
Yeah, you know, there it is. I mean, look behind me. There's Wen Mei Yu's uniform. If you look above there, it's Eric Lee's uniform right on top.
Cool.
So to have their uniform there, you know, and to have that part of history, to me, I think it's a very important. So I just want to say again a thank you to all those also who have continued to donate their uniforms, and to also a big thank you to people like Don Wilson, Cynthia Rothrock, Richard Bastille, Bill Risaki, all these people who do seminars for the museum without any cost at all, and even donate any funds raised to help the museum. So these guys have just been wonderful. I just want to say a big thank you to all those who have continued to help along the way. And I hope the big movie stars will come on board. I hope that is the case, and that would be fantastic. Because after all, we're supporting them through all our movie tickets and all that.
That's
so,
it.
You know, watching their movies and buying their DVDs. I hope they will give back and support. What better way to support the martial arts, giving back to the martial arts, than supporting the museum that keeps that history alive.
Excellent. And it was a pleasure to have you on today, Michael, and it was an honor. And
I hope I didn't talk your ear off.
No, that's what we want. We want to hear the stories and the history now. And I know you're doing a great job with the museum. And I know during the pandemic now, it's been quite tough, with especially financially and keeping the doors open. And
it has been very tough. You know, the pandemic, we've had to be closed a year. You know, we really had to be closed a year. Over here in California, 90%, especially in Southern California, 90% of the martial arts schools have all closed down. You know, schools that have been open for 40-something years are all closed down. And thankfully, we've had people on board that have been donating and supporting the museum, so we're able to stay alive. And looks like as this is hopefully coming to an end, the pandemic, we are going to still be here. So people can still donate and help out the museum and help us grow by making a donation. You know, if they make a donation, we are a nonprofit 501c3, so their donations are tax deductible here in the U.S. And you know, people can donate and help us out. It doesn't take much, you know. Billy Blanks was teaching Taibo in his garage until somebody huge got him on commercials and got him out there. You know, so sometimes it takes someone out there that loves martial arts and has a lot of funding behind them and want to help out the museum. They can do it very easily. I mean, some of these guys are huge in the martial arts, big movie stars, and they can write a check just like that, and right away we'll be into the new place. That can happen overnight. So I'm hoping that people watching your show can say, I want to. The martial arts has changed me. It has given me inspiration. It has given me self-confidence. It has got me in the movies, or whatever the reason. Let's give back to the martial arts by helping the museum. And just like that, overnight, we can be in a huge place. So I thank you, Sensei Emmett, for opening this door to people to learn about the museum and hopefully come on board. We're here to stay. We've been here 21 years. We're lasting through this pandemic, but everybody come on board. Let's make sure we're going to be here for another 200 years or more.
Excellent. And I'll put links to everything in the description as well, including the museum has YouTube channel. I know you're close to the 4,000 watchers now, so hopefully some of the viewers will slip over there and watch a few of your videos as well and get that 4,000 watchers up, and can help out that way as well.
Yeah, thanks. We're almost on the we're right on the edge. We are about 400 and something viewing hours left. So hopefully by next week we'll be able to get monetized on YouTube, and that'll help out the museum. So everybody watch YouTube as well, galore, and that'll help us out.
Excellent. And thank you again, Michael.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. My pleasure.